budget or 10% of whatever budget. The purpose is to stimulate minority business development. And of course, that's not being done in reference to. What are some of the problems that you see, Ms. Smith, in terms of the Nashville Business Network?
Well, there are various sources of information about what is beneficial to minority businesses, various capital that is available or programs that may be available, and with so many different things that may be available in the marketplace, there needs to be some kind of way to funnel this to all people. Everybody has an agenda, and rightfully so, but there needs to be a way to make sure that this is all funneled back into the community. That's one of the things that the Nashville Business Network would like to do, so that we can keep the community abreast of all the various things that are happening out there. Because one problem that black business particularly have are that they are owner-operators. And when you're owner-operators, you're putting in 12, 14, 16, 18-hour days and then expected to go out and find out how you can do it better to cut those hours. And it's very difficult many times to be able to do both. So if you have someone working in the community to help you know what is happening, at least you're able to make a decision, perhaps be involved with what is accessible to you, as opposed to going out on your own search to find solutions to your own problems. Not only that, by coming together with people who have the same types of problems, you learn a lot, how people are solving their own problems. So it's more of a grassroots type of effort as opposed to, like I said, the technical assistance that her office gives. Or many of the other situations where they have a particular agenda to either lend support financially or in certain skills, basic business skills. That is not necessarily the agenda of the Nashville Business Network. So those are the kinds of problems we have, is owner-operators trying to find out how to get to her office and be aware of her programs and what she's able to do, or that the chamber is having a seminar on collections and they need to know how to collect money. Whatever the situation is, we want that information to be funneled back into our community and to give support as well.
Very good. Ms. Robinson, you mentioned the fact that that there are more than 100 centers across the nation, which is to say that at least there ought to be one in each state.
Each major metropolitan area.
Exactly. Is there any kind of coordinating mechanism, which is to say that if you're having the problems that you mentioned, dealing with contractors, perhaps some of the other centers are having similar or identical problems. Is there any kind of coordinating mechanism that might be used to deal with this as a real problem? Because it is a real problem. If 10% of the budget has been set aside for a minority, to encourage minority economic development, and that is not happening. If it's not happening here, then perhaps it's not happening elsewhere, and perhaps something ought to be done. Is there some organization that can do that?
Well, to answer your question, yes, we're all connected. We're connected via computer. We have electronic databases and we have electronic mail. And to answer your other question, yes, the Department of Transportation is a national problem. It's a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse, period. And they're dealing with it on a congressional level, and they're constantly modifying the laws because the prime contractors are finding loopholes. They're finding ways to get in. You know, I guess this all amounts to greed or being unfair or whatever. So the problem is being looked at on a national basis. You know, it's bigger than us, and we do have people in Washington, and initiatives are being taken on a national basis to deal with that.
Very good. Ms. Smith, you also mentioned the fact that the Nashville Business Network is involved in a tourism project, is it not?
Yes, that is one of the reasons that I've been so intricately involved with it here lately, is because of this program. We have $1.22 billion that come into Nashville on an annual basis in tourism. And we have not identified in the minority community exactly how, if we're getting any of it and how much we can get. What we have found through this organization is that, no, we don't have a program, we don't have a mechanism for capitalizing on that income that's coming into this market. And it's going to grow. It's becoming more viable, and in particular, it's becoming more viable in the minority community. In the last couple of years or so, there have been a couple of conventions here that were related to the Baptist denomination. In 1992, the NAACP will hold their national convention here, and our community needs to understand how to capitalize on those dollars that are out there. 1.22 billion of them are out there, and we just need to know that we can get a portion of it, and it's just by knowing how to market ourselves. One way that the Nashville Business Network is working to make that happen is through a brochure that will highlight the participating businesses and events, activities, transportation, shopping opportunities that can occur into the tourists while they're here in Nashville that will affect minority businesses. And of course, this is one way, you know, when you go into the hotels, they're packed with all types of brochures, and this is one way that we can expose our businesses to that 1.22 billion rather.
Very good. Ms. Robinson, what can the Nashville Minority Business Development Center do in order to help her to capitalize on this
I would like to make a comment about that. She's already helped greatly.
Well, and how?
She helped by putting me in contact with the right person with the U.S. Commerce Department in order that I could receive information where a report had been done recently on developing minority tourism markets. And so I was able to get my hands on information on a national level about how this is being done across the nation, and what is the framework for making this happen. And Nashville has a lot of that framework already in place in the minority community. We just need to market it and tap on it from a tourism perspective. So Maryland was very instrumental in our being able to educate ourselves about how this can happen for us.
Well, why not educate the people?